We are now getting an update on a very busy night for the Nashville Fire Department and the Office of Emergency Management. Director Chief William Swann joining us now by phone. Chief Swann, good morning. Thank you for taking the time to talk with us. Help us understand kind of the scope of what your crews had to deal with overnight and into this morning.
Yes, good morning. Yeah, this weather event, of course, we have been reporting the possibility of the flash flooding and with the heavy downpour of rain. So our teams, since 10 o'clock to 7 a.m. this morning, 911 has taken about 2,500 911 calls, but we've had 130 rescues since last night, and we're still evaluating as we speak. Crews are out just making the checks in the known flooding areas. So it's just been a very eventful night where we had a lot of information that was coming in through 911s and a lot of rescues that was being performed by our teams. Just did an incredible job from fire, OEM, PD, parks, and public works. There's so many different partners that we all come together just to, again, do the things that we should do in this time.
Yes, sir. And can you give us an idea, Chief, of where a lot of these rescues were kind of focused and what kind of rescues they were? Just kind of give us a better understanding of what your crews were up against.
Yes, well, as you can imagine, our biggest areas that we monitor is everything from Richland Creek, Browns Creek, Seven Mills Creek, and then Mills Creek, Whites Creek, and then, of course, we're always concerned about the Harpeth and the possibilities there. But the rescues were basically more in the south and some west, but they were pretty rounded. I mean, it was a very divided throughout the city, and with most of it was preventable stuff where people were driving in water. We always tell people to turn around, don't drown. And then also we were very concerned about some of our homeless camps that we know that are active, and we have our crews that actually go there and try to do awareness for them and to get them out of these areas. So again, it was just throughout the city. It was just an amazing job when you look at, and at this point in time, we have confirmed 2 fatalities, possibly another one that we're actually investigating now. But again, it was a lot of work done by several crews, and again, it's ongoing.
And Chief, is there any additional information that you could tell us about the circumstances surrounding those fatalities?
Well, not at this time. I mean, again, we just have 2 that were confirmed, and then the third one, we're just confirming that by getting someone on the scene to do the investigation. But all of the events that happens when we warned our not going through water, not trying to drive through water, that is the biggest issue that we find. People, instead of turning around, don't drown, they try to manipulate the water, and it doesn't take much water to actually entrap people in their vehicles or wash their cars away. So again, we're just
residents and we're hearing that possibly some first responders and making comparisons to the 2010 flood. What would you say this flooding event over this weekend is like compared to what happened in 2010?
Well, we know, speaking to the Water Department and Scott Potter, of course, and the National Weather Service is where we get most of our readings. This is not comparable to 2010, of course, but if you wake up to this in the morning, it will probably give you, remind you of the 2010 flood. So we're not at those levels as far as cresting as the 2010 flood were, but again, we're feeling comfortable where we're at. We feel as if things will start cresting here soon, and we'll get back into more of a normal flow of things. But it will look sort of scary if you haven't been keeping up with the weather and you look out if you look out your window or you look at some of the pictures I'm sure that the news media is showing.
Yeah, definitely. We're getting a lot of very stunning images, Chief. My last question is, what's next throughout today, throughout the week for your first responders now?
Yeah, well, basically what we'll do is continue throughout the next few hours. We're doing checks of areas that we've had reports of missing people or reports of damage. And then as we go throughout the days, we'll do an assessment of damage for property damage, because again, it's very critical that when we have these type of weather events, that we help our residents be able to accumulate and calculate what damage is done for their properties, so that if there's a declaration or something that we can get reimbursed for to help our citizens, that's what we'll be looking for.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time this morning, Chief. We really appreciate it, and we appreciate all the work that you and your first responders do to keep us all safe. Thank you.
I appreciate it.